Earlier this week, I put a poll asking what type of Mech Armor video you guys wanted. There's a few great options there, but Digimon's Mech Armors won. So let's bring these illustrations to life. It sure is hot here. Wonder why Nexon's got to have a lesson on today like today. I mean, I love making Mech Armors, but it's too hot to work in a workshop. Well, I guess being an inventor, you should have some air conditioning, but let's see what's going to happen anyway. Not another recording. Right, here we go. A promise is a promise. I better get started.
Hey kid, sorry I had to nip out on another adventure. Seems like this other gig I had is more time consuming than I thought. Though, that said, a good part of your lessons is learning about other mech armors. So I thought I'd talk to you about some that's not been shown to anyone before. Well, more like I haven't shown it to anyone but the clients before. This time is some mech armors based on something called a Digimon. Not to be confused with those pocket monsters, whatchamacallits. Oh yeah, those Pokemon. I know, they both sound a bit similar. But I think the mon is short for monsters, so in this case it's, what was it? Digimon are... Oh yeah, that's right. How did I forget this? Digimon stands for digital monsters. They're from something called the Digiverse, or was it Digitalverse? Or whatever, not that I care either way. But I had a little bit of an extra adventure after and thought of myself escaped from that Minecraft game.
Escaped from a Minecraft game? Does Nexon play Minecraft?
Now, kid, if you're thinking I play Minecraft, I don't. Some things happen and one thing led to another. Then bish bam bosh, and thought of myself wound up inside the actual game of Minecraft with some form of STD. Oh wait, that's something else. Ignore that, kid. I have it down on a note around here somewhere. Where is it? Nope, not there. Is this it? Nope. Aha! Found it. It was an SCP. That's the one. Easy to confuse with an ST. Nearly did it again there. Let's just continue before I get in trouble and start a rumor about me and Aerofold that might be a little bit hard to explain. We have enough trouble at the moment as it is. What with the guys in the lab wanting to use that dimensional portal again? I swear, if I get stuck in that dimension as a Pokemon again, I'm going to send those fellows on a one-way ticket to find that Gudslord mech I sent to a random dimension.
What does this have to do with learning mech armors? If he's going to leave a video training session, he could at least get rid of the parts that are irrelevant.
Just between you and me, kid, this is something rather important. I had to use something special for these mech armors. Originally I was going to make some standard run-of-the-mill armor, but these kids wanted something special. And they seem to have the means to pay for it, in full. In fact, they paid extra if I can make them resemble their Digimon. Not sure why, but it seems that I had a bit of a soft spot for these kids that day. Well, that or the fact they threw in a little something extra, seeing how they did put in quite the incentive, I'll tell you about it some other time. I decided to make some of the best armors today. You might have remembered a while back, a long while back, I told you about the story of how I got my hands on some nanites that I've been saving up for a while. Truth be told, that was a little bit of a fib. I've been making tons of these things, so I brought them back from that scrap heap dimension where I met a certain someone. Well, moving on, where was I? Oh yeah, now I remember. So, for these mech armors, I made them using those nanites. Been wanting to make something with those little buttes, and this seemed like the perfect project. I took the strange device that connected the kids to their Digimon, some kind of weird watch thing on their arm. Not sure how it works fully, but I did manage to get a decent scan of the doohickey, so I'll have a look at that somewhere. Anyway, managed to hook in the nanites to this device so that it can be used when the Digimon evolve. I think it was called Digivolving. On a side note, when talking about anything Digimon related, just put the word Digi at the start of the word you want to say, replacing its original start. It sounds right for the topic. Digiverse, Digimon, Digivolution, Digiarmor. You get the gist, don't you? So, the first kid was way too energetic. In fact, two of these kids were far more energetic, if you ask me, but this is the first one had a strange, almost dinosaur-looking Digimon. I think his name was Agumon? Orange fella? Could talk as well. You can imagine my surprise when it did that. Nearly jumped out of my skin, thinking it's one of those animatronic things. I even wanted to take him apart and see what made him tick.
I really hope you didn't. Please tell me you didn't. You didn't slice up a living creature to see what makes it tick. You're a mech guy, not some kind of weird scientist. Although you do act like one sometimes.
Before you go there, kid, I didn't do anything to this little guy. Not that I would have, anyway. Well, truth be told, I did want to. I think Ehrenfeld's been rubbing off on me a bit. But the little guy digivolved, or whatever it's called, into this rather large version of itself. That was... wait, More hassle than it was worth. Like I said, before these kids wanted the armor to look like their Digimon pals, the only issue was the pals could change form, and not just once. That's when I came up with the brilliant idea of using those nanites, and making it so the armor could adapt its shape and form based on the Digimon's current form. For the purpose of this design, this is the one called War Greymon, I think it was. Some kind of mega digital evolution. I think a rather fierce and awesome looking Digimon, but damn was it massive in size. Had to watch the evolution outside. So, this next Digimon had the closest name to the word Digimon that you could ever imagine. I mean, seriously, when this form was mentioned, I was like, come again, say what now? Its name is Digmon. Yeah, you heard me right, Digmon. It's like someone got lazy saying Digimon, and what happened? Digmon. Maybe some little kid came up with the name and it just stuck. Either way, this Digimon was not as cool looking as the others. It just looked more like a giant bug. Kind of like a mosquito but with drills on its face, and drill-like hands. Had a rather cool combination of yellow and purple though. Either way, this is more like a bug, but it had drills, so I was a bit unsure about what this Digimon was meant to be. That said, its partner was a bit shy in comparison to the last fella, but they did have an air of slyness about them. This was a rather large Digimon as well, but it was different for its evolution. There was a weird egg that was used, and it made it armor digivolve. Yes, you heard me. This one used an egg to evolve from its previous form to this large insect-type thing. Not entirely sure that this armor evolution was a genuine thing till I saw it. I did get this fella and his Digimon to extend my underground lab and training area. In fact, they were happy to help, and it was good in a way to test the nanite's armor abilities. Turns out I'm a genius. Seriously, I'm a complete genius. It's not just anyone who can... Let's skip this bit, shall we? It's going to waffle on about what genius he is for the next 5 minutes. And I've heard it all before. Okay, so now that we have that covered, it's time to move on to what I think is a rather cool feature. These Mech Armors have to deal with a massive amount of energy from the Digimon and this Digiverse. It's channeled into the nanites. Can't tell you how many of these little buggers got blown up, and I lost several batches. Might not seem a lot, but considering these nanites are millions upon billions of tiny machines, it took a while and a lot of resources. As I was saying, kid, there's a massive amount of energy being sent to these nanites from that Digiverse when these Digimon thingamabobs evolve. So much, in fact, that the armors have to vent it somehow. Some rather ingenious designs were added by yours truly. This Digmon armor, it vents from the symbols on its chest and gauntlets. It's like a purplish glowing flame, smoke, plasma type thing. Flame, smoke, plasma type thing. So, a plasma flame. I wish you wouldn't change the names of things to suit his mood at any point in time. Though I guess it's easier than the time when he said to connect the thingamabob to the whatchamacallit and isolate the who's-a-majigger from the micro-inducer. That's not a micro-inducer. Weirdest thing though, I thought all the plasma smoke thingamajiggy from the armors would be the same colour when they vented. You know, coming from the same universe and all that. Well, I guess I was wrong on that one. Different Digimon use a different type of energy from that universe, so at times the plasma flame thingy was a whole host of different colours. Even when it changed forms to the more mega, or they evolved and became more intense, the colour of the plasma was, well, it's kind of cool looking if you ask me. But the main thing is that these armours could handle that much power and not explode. Though I did warn the kids, it's only guaranteed to double the power of these mega evolutions. Hey, that's a rather good name. I'll have to remember that. The next Digimon is one my good old pal Ehrenfold would love to meet, although I'd think he'd rather end up fighting it and trying to slay this one. If you hadn't guessed, this is a dragon-type Digimon. That said, in its normal form, it's called Ex-Veemon, I think, and it doesn't look like a dragon, but apparently it's a tiny dragon. Blue in colour with a yellow V-shape on its forehead and a bit of white across its body. This is a feisty mon. Why didn't I start calling them that sooner? Mon is so much easier to say than Digimon. Well, I guess I'll have to use that from now on. Hope you're following this, kid. Anyway, this one didn't have so many forms, but being a pure breed of a dragon-type mon, this little blue fellow was packing quite the power. I did get to see it armor digivolve, but there was another form of evolution which the armor could take on. And this form, well, it did have a rather strange feature. Something known as a DNA digivolution? Seriously, I think they're making these things up now. Basically, two of these mons fuse and become something new. Kinda creepy, kinda cool. I'll run you through this another time, as the armor from that one is something rather funky, and, well, it'll take a while to explain all the ins and outs. Getting back to this mon, the kid, Davis I think his name was, not too sure, can't remember. Being honest, I was far too interested in the readings from the evolved form of this mon. It became more dragon-like, and it was called Ex-Veemon, I think. Grew wings on its back and a silver X on its chest. Looked quite brutish, and was large in size, but the armor this kid had did turn out to be quite epic. It ended up with some wings, a nice horn, and somehow a super sleek and awesome design. The nanites worked so well it kinda turned out to be my best work. Or at least, that's how this one came out. There's one other thing that's rather cool looking, but that's in a future lesson for you all. Now, for this mech armor, there's something weird with the nanites. It seemed that when I programmed them, what I programmed them to do was not happening. For the blade horn I was expecting on the head of this armor, it turned into a silver kind of thing. Still looked awesome, but I wasn't sure what was going on. Turns out, the nanites worked both ways. Not only did they take the form of the mon that they were assigned to, but if the user's will or impression of their Digimon was strong enough, they would become a combination of the two. This was reflected in what armor appeared at the Ex-Veemon stage of this Digivolution. It was far more powerful than it should have been, and it was definitely faster than I thought it would be given the size of Ex-Veemon. Just as powerful as well. I also discovered that the attacks from the mons were shared with the armor. Not all, but enough to make it so the pair could fight side by side. Seemed rather fun, and before I knew it, there were at least 2, maybe 3 dozen kids and their mons showing up, trying to get some armors. Some of them knew each other, and the rest, well, let's just say I did see a shady character or two, but business is business. I just build the armors, I don't judge as long as the client pays and keeps my name out of it. Anyway, kid, here's your homework. Do you remember what I was telling you about when I was talking of how much of a genius I was? Well, I want you to have a go at doing what I told you I did. By the time I see you next, I'm expecting this to be part of your armor design we've been working on. Oh, and by the way, just so you can't cheat, this message will be locked after I finish this part for at least 3 weeks. You'll only be able to see the designs and basic stats for these armors. Well, have fun, kid. Sure hope you didn't skip any parts of this. You're going to have a hard time.
Wait, what? But I skipped a bit. How do I rewind this? I need to rewind this before it... What did you guys think of today's episode? Did you enjoy Digimon's Mech Armors? I had a lot of fun coming up with the kind of like design to this one, as well as the story. Thought it'd be quite interesting to get Nexum and the nanites into a Mech Armor episode. It's been a while since the Sharp vs. Nexum, where he worked with Benny Sharp in the end to get a couple of nanites. My favourite design from this one has to be the Ex-Veemon design. I think the blue and the white colours just work really well with the sleek design and wings. However, I do like the War Greymon design, which kind of has that nice, powerful feel to it. Let me know in the comments below which was your favourite. There's still time to enter the community redraw, where you've got to submit your own original SCP. If you like this Mech Armor episode, why not check out some of the other ones, where we've got turning D&D monsters into Mech Armors, we've got turning Pokemon into Mech Armors, and a whole host of other fun videos on the channel. That's all for me. Stay safe, everybody. Catch you next time.